What's up? It's Joshua. I feel responsible for the James Cody. The Taylor Swift thing was obviously a joke, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But I feel responsible. But you want to know what 86 is? It's the feast day of the transfiguration of Jesus Christ. Actually, maybe that's what he was talking about. Maybe he was talking about because 74 is my birthday and 47 is 74 backwards, right? And 86 is the feast day of the transfiguration of Jesus Christ in the Catholic Church. You know that? August 6th, 8/6. You want to know how I know that? Very important day. This is the day that I found my birthday, and in the Catholic the new what is it? It's the red and white one, the new Catholic Bible. When I was in prison, I was like for real on 8/6. On 86, that's when I found it. In the Amigo Begigos one. That's a song that I sing for the Amigo Begigos. Amigo Begigo, Amigo Begigo. I love when I'm singing that. It's not as pertinent here in Washington, D.C. There's not as many. Amigo Begigo. In Las Vegas, there's a lot. But anyway, so I mean, I'll tell you the full story, but like, I went like because here's the thing that people see. People think I just like because I was going on on the post whatever. But the thing that they don't understand is how much like. Okay, if you know anything about the Catholic Mass, it runs in 3 year cycles, right? So whatever the reading is today, right? Whatever the old and they at Vatican II, did you know this? Here's an interesting fact that the Catholic Church didn't read the Old Testament at Mass until Vatican II. That's when they put that in. Did you know that implement they didn't implement the Old Testament readings until 1960. So for like I mean, let's just say 2,000 years, 2,000 years almost. They didn't read the Old Testament in the Catholic Church. It wasn't there. It got. Why did they just all of a sudden start implementing it into 1960? But anyway, so that, after Vatican II, they put it in and they started letting people read the Old Testament. I don't know why they were keeping people from the Old Testament. Why would they do that? I, that's a head scratcher. Why wouldn't you want people reading the Old Testament? Did you know how the Rosary was made? You want to know what it is? It's 150 prayers. You want to know why they where it comes from? Because there's 150 psalms and people were praying 150 prayers to David and they didn't I don't know this for I saw this Catholic this nun I was listening to her talk about it. She said and she would know. She said and they didn't want people praying 150 psalms so they made up the rosary 150 prayers so people wouldn't pray 150 psalms to David. They wanted you praying to your toes, to your pancakes. Mary, come in, Hail Mary, full of grace, Lord is with thee. Please be in my pancakes. Oh my God! Right. Anyway, back. So the Old Testament reading and the New Testament reading, right? Whatever it is today, it won't be that. It won't be that reading next year and the year after that. And then there's like an implementation of like a special thing, but then it goes back. So it's every 3 years. So whatever the reading is today, in next year it won't be that. You'll have to wait 3 years. It's like a lunar cycle or something until it comes back around, right? So I was reading along with the Catholic Missalette, right, or the Magnificat, because it has whatever the readings are, right, and it was like I started doing it in like the end of July. It was July 2016. Was it 2016 or 2016? Yeah, it was July 2016, right? And the first reading, at the end of July, and I walked into this because I had this dream where my grandmother turned around and she had this book, right? She handed me this book, and I knew I was supposed to find this book, and I was like, I don't know what where am I gonna? I was in prison. I was on my way to federal prison actually. I'm like, I don't know where I have no control over what book. How am I gonna find this book? But I knew I was gonna find a book. And I walked. I went to camp, right? And I walked into to to the. I should probably tell. I wish I had the book with me. It would be much more profound. But anyway, so I had like three significant dreams. This one guy comes to me the first time, and the first one it was God. The second one it was my grandmother. She turns around, she hands me this book. God didn't see. There was just a table. I sat down. I mean, I should probably tell you the whole story. You want the whole story, guy? I mean, I've already started this video. I mean, and I can't even tell 20 minutes. Anyway, I'm supposed to find this book. I walk into, I'll tell the full story some other time. It's a really, really, really profound story, but it's a really long story. It's like hours long. You'd think it wouldn't be, but it is like hours long. Just from the first time that I see God in this dream, and I have three successive dreams. Like when you see God, like I've been face to face with God. Otherwise, there's stuff that I do. I'm like, really, I'm nobody. But I've seen God. Like when you see God, you know that you've been in the presence of God. Moses turned. Moses saw him, and Moses saw him person. Moses turned white. Anyway, like God didn't even say anything to me, and it was only for like however long in a dreaming. He didn't even say anything, he just smiled at me and picked up this chalice and thrust it at me, and I woke up. I was like forever changed. But anyway, next dream. Just make a video. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Anyway, man. So I walk into the chapel and I see this red book on the shelf. And I'm like, for some reason I go and I pick it up. I'm like, and it's the New American Catholic Bible. It's red and white, and I take it back and it's a long drawn history. But anyway, back to the point. So I'm reading the Magnificat along. I'm the Old Testament reading and the New Testament reading. Like I didn't know like a tenth of what I know now. And I'm like reading along and I'm reading the masses and like it's like the end of July and then August comes. August 1st I read. August 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. August 6th, which is the transfiguration of Jesus Christ. And I'm reading it and the Old Testament reading was like Mark, I think it's like Mark 9, and the New Testament reading was Daniel 7, right? And I'm looking down and it's like Jesus goes up on the mountain and fall asleep. And I look down and it's like on the page number, and it's 1126. It's on page 1126 in this Bible. I'm like, that's crazy because that's my birthday, November 26th, right? I go back to the Old Testament, and for some reason I go back to it on Daniel 7, and I look down and it's on page 974, and I'm like, I'm born in 1974, right? I go back, and the page numbers for the New Testament reading were 11/26, 1974, my birthday, on the Transfiguration on 8/6. Right? I'm like, oh my God, this is my birthday. I'm like, what are the odds of that happening? It can't happen. You can go look it up, man. It's like 2016. That's the readings for the Mass, and you go get the New American Catholic Bible, and you look at it like it was 2016. Like you can go look it up, and if I wouldn't have been there at that place and time, right at that moment, it wouldn't have been the reading. If it would have been 1 year before, 1 year later, or it wouldn't have